Back in the summer of 2001, there was a pool of generational talent bubbling out of high school. However, that year, the talk was all about one player, a player who many thought would run the NBA. No, it wasn't LeBron James. That player was Lenny Cooke. During his junior year in high school, Cooke was America's best two-way player, averaging an impressive 25 points and 10 rebounds to go along with his 2 steals and 2 blocks per game. He kicked it up a notch his senior year with over 31 points per game. However, Lenny Cooke also struggled in school, and he became academically ineligible to play in his senior year after only 8 games. He was forced to end up playing in pickup games and tournaments, but at this point, Cooke was a healthy #1 prospect with an all-time high draft stock, ranked ahead of LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Amari Stoudemire. So what happened? Later that year, Cooke participated in the 2001 ABCD camp matchup. Cooke was the name in New York basketball back then. He was also the defending MVP at camp, and many expected him to repeat. However, it was at this point when LeBron James became the #1 prospect. The two played against each other in the camp, and LeBron James would end up hitting the game-winning three-pointer over Lenny Cooke. Sonny Vaccaro, the founder of the camp, said it was one physical moment that symbolized the beginning of LeBron and the downfall of Lenny Cooke.
LeBron James is simply the greatest 15, 16-year-old kid I've ever seen in my life. He has a chance, when it's all over, to be one of the greatest players ever to play the game.
In 2002, Cooke scored 21 points in the EA Sports Roundball Classic at the United Center in Chicago. His performance ranked him 4th out of prospects his age, making his NBA dream possible again. Cooke would be recruited by several top colleges, including North Carolina, Seton Hall, and St. John's. Then, a few months later, instead of playing a year in college, he made himself available for the NBA draft straight out of high school. Lenny was pressured by many agents who said numerous NBA clubs would take him in the draft if he was available. Unfortunately, this backfired when no team picked him up, leaving him as an undrafted free agent. Because he hired an agent, Lenny couldn't go back to college. The 19-year-old had to start over and couldn't dream nearly as big. Lenny Cooke bounced around the NBA minor leagues and reached the Celtics Summer League team. Unfortunately for Lenny, this would be as close as he would get to the NBA. Lenny Cooke would then go on to play internationally in the Philippines and China, but several Achilles injuries put an end to his playing career. While Lenny Cooke missed his opportunity in the NBA, his peers LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony went on to become NBA All-Stars. LeBron went on to earn over $300 million in NBA contracts alone, not including his alleged billion-dollar deal with Nike. In 2004, Lenny Cooke also got into a really bad car accident that put him in a coma, and he almost had to have his leg amputated. Months and years passed, and Lenny Cooke became really out of shape and ballooned to over 300 pounds.
I stopped working because everything was starting to be handed to me, and the ego got to me, and the press, the media, you know what I'm saying? And I stopped working, you know what I mean? I just thought it was never going to end.
Lenny Cooke's story would go on to be depicted in a documentary shown at the Tribeca Film Festival in 2013 and was produced by his friend and NBA player Joakim Noah. Remember the story of Lenny Cooke. In fact, the success of LeBron James can truly be appreciated by his tragedy. Who knows what would have happened had he managed to keep on track during his youth and be allowed to reach his full potential. Today, Lenny Cooke is an assistant coach at the Atlantic City High School and often speaks to kids about his experiences and the importance of education.
My freshman year of high school, I just thought about it and said, this is what I want to do.
In one of his recent speeches, Lenny told kids, "My message today and every day is academics should come first. At the end of the day, when you talk about a student athlete, the student comes first."